The first and foremost, you're absolutely right that we are planning to have more than 20 gigafactories in Europe, because this is how we estimate the demand will evolve in the future years, which would lead to the market for the batteries of 250 billion euros as of 2025. I have to say that thanks to our European focus and the European Battery Alliance on this matter, we have seen that Europe within 2 years have become such a hot zone for investment into batteries. Just last year we had 60 billion euros invested into the whole value chain of battery production. This year it's already 25 billion, and if you look at different analysts, it's quite clear that we invested twice as much as it was invested in China at the same period. So really Europe became the magnet for the investment into the batteries and energy storage. And we are covering the whole value chain. Today we are talking about extraction, but some time ago we've been discussing about the gigafactories, about the software development, about linking the possibility of storing the energy in electric vehicles to help us to balance our renewables in our electricity system, and then of course reuse and recycling. And of course, as we already mentioned earlier, we believe that if all the projects for the extracting, mining and processing lithium in Europe would go well, we should be able in the 2025 and the second half of this decade to cover 80% of the demand for the lithium. That being said, of course, we are not able to cover all the demands for the critical raw materials, not only for batteries, but for other industries for which there is such an expert just from domestic sources. Therefore, we are pushing for fair trade deals. We are pushing for fair access to the raw materials, and we are also, of course, pushing the issue of sustainability very high on all the international discussions we are participating, be it our trilateral cooperation with Japan and US, be it OECD, be it UN. And I think we shouldn't forget that as of 1st of January, what's coming to the effect are the guidelines on the critical minerals, what again the highest levels of sustainability should be respected when mined, extracted and processed. So we would of course rely as much as possible on our domestic sources, but we also want to create the conducive, fair, open atmosphere in the area of access to the critical raw materials. But Thierry, I'm sure that you can add a lot to this.
You said it almost all, but I just think it's important to answer at this stage what we mean when we say that we want our continent to be more independent, autonomous, sovereign. What do we say? We say that, of course, we don't say that it's the end of globalization. And I think it's important. I read so many things now these days saying, oh, we need to be self-sufficient here, there. No, it's a mistake to believe that we will be soon entering a phase where every continent will be able to do everything on their own. It will just not happen this way. But it is true that, yes, we have seen that. Tensions, including maybe sometime some call it trade war or technological war. We read this, like you. So yes, things are getting more difficult these days, and we have to be prepared for this. So that's why it means that we will negotiate, but we will negotiate arm's length, and we'll negotiate. And when we negotiate, we need to have also something to offer. And yes, we have resources. You said it, Maroš. You gave very well the example of lithium. 80% of the lithium for batteries by 2025. That's huge. 50% of our needs in graphite, natural graphite, could be covered by 2030. Especially because we could exploit our resources in Sweden, in Romania, in Finland, in Germany, of course, in Spain too, and in Slovakia. For rare earths like neodymium and dysprosium, for example, which are very used for windmill and electric car. We could, and especially for the windmill, it's a key critical part. We could cover 50% of our demand by 2030. So I mean, and especially because of resources in Sweden here again, in Spain, Finland, and Germany. So I mean, yes, that's why we are building our position to be self-sufficient in some areas and to be able to discuss, to negotiate with our trade partners in a position where, at the end of the day, of course, everyone will need everyone, but we have to, our job, our mission as a Commission is to make sure that we will be able to do this on a strong position basis.
Many thanks.